So, quick apology. My video editing skills are way better on a phone than when I do it on a laptop, and I'm trying to tell a story anyways. So, going on about this whole shit show, it really could have been avoided, and what people really ought to do is just de-escalate, which I'm now willing to do because it's getting out of hand. Like, I get death threats constantly and I can kind of brush it off. But there comes a point where it's like, man, how low can you go? So this was written by a guy. I can post it on my Instagram or whatever. By a guy named Daniel Fletcher, a guy I knew for 14 years. And really, my battle is not even with Chosen Company. I mean, it's ultimately with a guy named uh, Callan Lewis Benjamin, whatever, Sandberg, right? And I don't even really want to continue fighting, bro. I don't have any interest in fucking with you. I have medical conditions in my knees, my back, and my head that I need to deal with. But when people write things like this, so this was written by Daniel Fletcher, and this whole post is all very influenced by Sandberg's thinking because they were in Second Battalion. But this is I think the lowest thing I've ever heard. And he's taken advantage of a guy who has severe TBI. I'll read it. I'll read it. I have it screenshotted. Crawl into whatever hole you can and pray when they get you, whether our lot or the orcs. Just pray that whoever gets you, they do it quick. It better be a death than you deserve. It'd be a better death than you deserve. So implying I deserve a slow death. The guy from my name 14 years. Then it goes on. It goes on. Or mimic your mum. Tie a noose. I pity the old girl. It's evident why she checked out. Do yourself, boy, before the Ukrainians, Russians, Georgians, and Aussies and Yankees or our lot find you. Like, so let's talk a little bit about my life for a second so we can contextualize things, right? When I was in Iraq, my mother, and I came back, my mother committed suicide. She took a whole bunch of benzos, sleeping pills, alcohol, and just ended her life. And then my father got cancer, like diagnosed severe within the same month. I was slated for the Army's CI counterintelligence program at that point. I had been commander recommended. So, like, as a person, when your former close friends write something saying that you should kill yourself like your mother, man, that is why some of these nasty back and forths have gotten to the level they are. You know, I accept the criticism, Ben, you should be the better man. But the thing is these people have the authorities behind them. They have the Ukrainian government, and they're acting with impunity. I just got myself, you know, if the authorities want me, like the actual authorities, like Polish, the Americans, by all means, I'm here in Krakow. Shoot me a text through one of your field agents, and I'll gladly turn myself in for whatever crime I may have committed. But if people want context on these heinous back and forth death threats, when you go to the low of, I mean, I knew this dude longer than most of you probably before you even started masturbating. No offense. Like, you know, can't, fuck, you can't see it because of the screen. I could post it on my Instagram if you really want, but I couldn't even make these words up myself. And that was preceded by a long, long, long message, which was clearly the influencing of Sandberg because they were both in Second Battalion together. Mimic your mom in Taya News. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever lost a parent, but it's pretty hard, especially in your 20s. It's brutal. It's even more brutal when you come back from a combat deployment. It's one of the hardest periods of my life. And then you're going to lose another parent. So, I mean, I'm open to a suggestion on how I should respond to some of these people. But I mean, this person personally knows me and sent it via Facebook Messenger because we're friends, supposedly. And we've known each other for 14 years. So when people get to that level of disgusting, where they talk about my family history, of course it bothers me. Of course. I'm not going to let it bother me anymore. I think I need to be more stoic. I think, good introspective point of this is that I just need to accept that some people are going to be cunts. I think that's part of my problem. When people aren't, um, when people aren't cunts to me, I'm actually a pretty reasonable guy. Pretty reasonable guy. But if people want to continue this madness, for what? Like, for what purpose? You think you're gonna drive me into insanity? I'm already crazy. Um, do you think you're gonna make me kill myself? No, I'm not gonna kill myself. It actually gives you a stronger will to live if you've ever had like mental health problems when you feel an external threat, which logically I would. But my reactions to an external threat, I don't have the authorities behind me. Now, I could completely check off online, but if you see what I do on my Instagram, I'm trying to actually do decent videography. You can see some of my shorts and cutting yourself out of social media. Because if you look at my TikTok and all that jazz, it's mostly just stylized videography. You can't just cut yourself out of that. Like you're listening to me on YouTube because you obviously want to hear something. So you don't really have any room to kind of say, hey, you're on social media. You're watching social media. So my message to everybody out there is like, man, if you want to de-escalate, I'm totally happy because this level of disgustingness is just it's a stain on everything. Like, why would you say that to another person? And where do you think that's going to lead? It's just going to lead to more, you know. It's like an eye for an eye and believe the whole world blind. So, this is my formal video stating, look, I'm putting down the sword. I want nothing to do with war. I want nothing to, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want it to do anything to do with mill blogs, whether they're Western or Russian or whatever. I don't give a shit. The theme has been exhausted out of me. If you wonder why I get a black eye, it's because I walked into a wall. I won. I usually win things that I do. I'm tough. I got this way for a reason. People like to make comments. This dude's soft. I mean, does this look like the marks of somebody who's soft? Mm-mm. And people want to like rag on my service in Ukraine. By all means, there's plenty of room for criticism. But if like, where's the talk about my service in the U.S. Army? None, because it was good. Now, I'm kind of casually admitting I am a has-been, but I will be something after this. We're gonna see new stuff. We're gonna move on from this content. There's like two interviews that I did, and what follows from them is just I don't know if I would have done them now if I've just seen the disgusting level of people. It's just gross. Like there's so many beautiful things in the world that you can do. Go hiking, enjoy beautiful architecture of Europe, do so many things, but people are spending their time, including myself, in what? Online character assassinations. It's gross. This has been a two-way street, which I admit that I've added fuel to the fire, but I didn't pick a fight in this situation. It was picked with me. How I responded? Many times poorly. Totally. I totally get it. I have candor. I'm not a completely delusional twat that thinks that he does everything right all the time. Nor should anybody be. I think being critical of yourself is a good thing. It's called personal growth. But, anyways, my plans at this point is to get into probably a 30 to 40-day psych rehab program and then come out, learn Polish, and to make funny content and beautiful content and get away from this war stuff. But if you're intent on ruining me, like for what? It's because I think you're a low quality person, Sandberg. But there's no point in us colliding over and over and over again. It's yielded nothing. I mean, if you're looking for justice, then go let the authorities deal with it if they're going to do with it. But there's no justice in revenge. It's not. Just justice. Revenge is not justice. They're completely separate concepts. But yeah, we'll see where I go. I definitely encourage people more to check out my TikTok. I just put more effort into short form stuff. I'm not really set up to do long form content other than just talking to this webcam. So yeah, that's all I have to say about what's going on now regarding post chosen company stuff. I don't really, I just really wish that things were nipped in the butt in the beginning. They could have been, but people failed to act, and I failed to respond properly. I admit that for sure. Other people should admit too. It's a two-way street.